Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Committee of the Whole for June 2nd, 2025 of the Big Spring School District. I'd like to call the meeting to order at this time. We do have a presentation from the high school, but do we have any public comment? Hearing or seeing none, we have a presentation by our principal, Dr. Carnes of the high school, on targeted supporters. So Dr. Carnes, first of all, thank you for coming. Second of all, thank you for all the work you did personally with our students for graduation. I thought it went very well. You're to be commended for helping to lead those students through that process. But tonight we're interested in our targeted supporters, so it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wardle. First of all, we move right out of one school year on Friday, right into the next school year, and that's why I'm here tonight. The goal is to review our targeted support improvement plan with the board and get your blessing that we can then send the plan to PDE for their approval. So this is one of the steps, and at the end I'll review the whole process, this being really the second step. First step was drafting and then meeting with the committee, and committee met as we had all stakeholders there, and the next step is to present to the board tonight. So just to get started, the TSI, Targeted Support and Improvement, we were informed in December that Big Spring High School will be on Targeted Support and Improvement for the 25-26 school year. So we were told back in December this was coming next year. We were on TSI this past year, and I'm going to go through a little bit of our plan tonight, but know that what I will go through tonight is just a small part of a bigger part of the high school plan. A lot of the things that are put into this plan I'll present tonight will be a part of what we'd be doing anyway to help our students be more successful. So what is TSI? What is Targeted Support and Improvement? There we go. It occurs when you have a group of 20 or more students in a subgroup. So for us, our cohorts are based out of the junior class. In most cases, and sometimes the senior class based off the data. It's a little different than the K-8 levels because we're dealing with keystones. And that's where a lot of this data comes from, as well as attendance and graduation data. We have to have a group of 20 or more students to make what's called a subgroup that do not meet proficiency or growth measures as designated by ESSA or Pennsylvania Department of Ed. So being that we're designated TSI, we have to develop an improvement plan to address the standards that the state has told us we are not addressing effectively to the standards of ESSA or PE standards. We are under TSI, as it shows in the middle part of that screen there, for our subgroup of students with disabilities. And you can see the reasoning right there on the slide as well. What I want to make note of is the data that you see there is based off of our the class that just graduated. Their data in regards to the math and ELA growth, the regular attendance, and the career standards benchmark all came from that. That's how the state could tell us in December that we'd be on TSI next year because the data was already completed. The first number in the parentheses will show you where we appeared. The second is the area in which the state said we would have met the threshold. If you look back at the numbers, you'll see that we're close, but it doesn't matter. We're not close enough, and we need to get better. So that's what we're going to do. The good news I do want to share is we were designated TSI for economically disadvantaged last school year, and that is not a designation for next school year. That subgroup is not designated. When you work with the tool to build the plan, I want to try and explain this before I get to the next slide, is you sort of work through the tool and it builds you to your goals. It's the way PD has created the tool, that you don't know what your goals are going to be until you work through all of the items. So, for example, the strengths, a lot of these things already exist. Things that already exist at Big Spring High School, a few of which I know were points of emphasis this year. And as we move forward, we're going to continue to use those strengths to help us deal with the challenges, which I'll get to in the next slide. But we really concentrated on analyzing data and in our instructional decisions this past year, the The second bullet will be in effect it was in effect this past school year. We'll continue to move along with that and moving our biology to the sophomore year, giving our students some more time to get exposed to science. Then we get into the algebra piece. It's not only been split into two parts, but some of these courses, biology, English, freshman English, sophomore English, and algebra will be mostly, if not all, mostly taught in a full year course, giving our students a full year's worth of dosage rather than getting it in a half a year condensed course in a block like most of our courses have been for the most part. That's a change moving to next year. Now we look at our challenges. What I want to focus on are a couple of them that will be identified in the plan. Some of these challenges are then addressed not directly. So, such as addressing our special education population in an environment that provides the best opportunity to grow. So some of our special ed students, which are the students we're talking about in this plan, aren't exposed to the regular ed curriculum, yet they're expected to take a Keystone exam that's going to assess the regular curriculum that they may not have been exposed to and may have, with some supports, be able to have exposure to that. And I'll talk about that when I get to the goals of the plan. In regards to attendance of our struggling students, that was a point of emphasis this year, and we began to work well with our student services and administrative team to try and improve that. I don't think we got as far as we'd like to have, and we're going to continue to work together in collaboration to improve our attendance, as well as working with our local district magistrate in reference to truancy. And then the last one is finding the time to progress monitor. So our students with IEPs, the case managers are pulling students out of class from time to time to try and assess their progress. And in doing so, they're pulling them out of a class that they're missing to assess their progress. So what we're trying to do with the full year courses that we're offering is we won't totally remove it, but we will definitely lessen the need for students to be pulled out of class to be progress monitored. So the plan addresses 3 goals. Sometimes you have too many goals, you won't be able to accomplish any of them. So we have 3 goals. This is what came out as we went through the tool. The students with IEPs learning in the environment that provides them the best opportunity for growth. And you'll see there co-taught classes versus pull-out classes, etc. We're adding co-taught, which will be 2 teachers in the classroom in 9th and 10th grade English, biology, and algebra. Not all of them, but in some cases for our students with IEPs. We'll have some students in those classes. We'll have a special ed teacher and a highly qualified teacher in that class. They will work together to teach all the students in that class to get that exposure to the regular curriculum, thus giving them a better chance to show growth or even proficiency on the state assessment. The second goal in regard to analyzing student attendance, our students response team, that's what we call the group of student services and administrators, will continue to work together to try and get to the roots or the root cause of some of our truancy rather than dealing with the end result, which is the truancy. We know that something brings truancy. Truancy isn't usually a thing in of itself, it's something that caused it. So we're going to continue to work as a group to improve. And then lastly, some courses will be offered as full year courses, provide that time for that progress monitoring that I referred to, and those students will have that opportunity to learn all year. Those are the goals in the TSI plan. And we're already in process of working towards the professional development piece. The first part, professional development co-teaching, actually we start tomorrow with that. We have teachers coming in to work together to start that model, and we'll have some work with EIU throughout the year with that, as well as some in-house work, and then that'll be constantly monitored with their coaching as well as administrative classroom visits and such. And then we'll have to also continue to do some professional development with regard to progress monitoring, as it was in my first year, this past year, what I learned early on is it seemed as a pretty new way to do it with fidelity, and that's what we need to get better at, is make sure that we're doing things consistently. And so that's why that's one of the goals that we have. In terms of action plan, the anticipated output is we're going to see better growth in our students with IEPs in terms of their achievement, and as well as our attendance, and looking at that tiered system to address truancy. As I alluded to before, this is the true first step in the approval process, is your blessing on the plan. Secondly would be to submit the PDE for approval. They may say, hey, well, your plan's not done well enough for us. We want to see change to this, that, and we would make adjustments accordingly. And then we would look to roll it out to the staff as we start the school year. Many of the things that I alluded to we're rolling out regardless. They just happen to be part of the plan that the state has asked us to put together. That is all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Carnes. It's great to see that we're focusing on our students and trying to improve not only for the state standards, but also for their development and their growth. Does any of the board members have any questions or comments?
Dr. Carnes, as far as truancy, are the Keola kids monitored in some way as to truancy?
Yes, they're monitored from a attendance standpoint. Differently per se, but yes, there's a process for attendance for our students that are in Keola.
And what percentage or how many of those, are many of those truant?
That I can't speak to. I honestly don't know the answer to that. But I can find out.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? So you're going to take the plan that you presented us this evening, put it in the right format, submit it to the state. They'll say yay or nay, revise it if we need it, and implement it with the staff before next school year. And then hopefully we'll see some improvement for those special groups of students.
Correct.
But we've been removed from the economically disadvantaged benchmark. That's gone away. We hopefully will continue to improve. So this is the special population that we need to work on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole? Motion, Mrs. Shea, do I have a second? Second, Mr. Myers. I assume there's no discussion. I assume we're all voting in the affirmative unless I hear a negative or abstain. I declare the committee of the whole meeting adjourned. We will pick up with the regular board meeting for the Big Spring School District June 2nd, promptly at 7:30. Thank you.